Y'all, I was sent this Twitter thread because my people know what I like, know what I watch. Now, this woman, Mrs. A. Martini, is dropping some details. Get your tea, get your bubble tea. Let's lock in. So, Mrs. A. Martini says, evangelical women, or at least a large percentage of them, hate their husbands. The TradCon men are not making for great husbands. All right, so they hate their husbands. I'm incognito in some private evangelical wives pages, been in them for years. They don't talk about their kids, their church, politics. They only post about their husbands because they hate them. I picture the husbands as less affluent, kicker, beard type guys. A sample. And then she just gives little snippets of conversation. So it's not like full commentary. And obviously, she's not including any women's names. Okay, some of these conversations. My husband and I have not done the do in 6 months. He used to look at corn for years, but said he doesn't now. I'm feeling frustrated with my marriage. I'm a stay at home mom to our 13-year-old, and I'm feeling extremely burnt out. I do absolutely everything for our child at all hours of the day. My husband will occasionally watch her for a brief 15-minute stint. So much of the parental load has been, I guess, lumped on her. This is to the woman who recently posted about her violent outburst towards her husband and then gives her a heart. The green one. Sisters, how do you move past your emotions to do the do with your husbands after you've been arguing? I don't want to not have Nookie with him, but I find it extremely challenging to be turned on or be sensual after he's been verbally berating me for what seems like hours. He'll unload his frustrations on me and then expect Nookie. This person says, seeing so many posts where women are struggling with husbands that are not loving their wives as biblically instructed. Sorry, tongue got tied up there. Hello, ladies. I'm looking for advice and maybe scripture to help me have faith in God's plan for me and my husband. We are newlyweds, and it feels like in the short months since we were married, my husband has been drifting from God and pulling away from her after a few short months. This woman says, my husband told me recently that if it wasn't for Smex, he wouldn't have gotten married. And remember, women are supposed to submit to these people. These men are over them, and they're supposed to submit to this. All right. And the red box says, my husband told me I look cute twice this week. That never happens. When I said thanks in a questioning tone, he told me he hates when I dress like a granny. So much for that modestly dressed stuff. This woman in this tan box says, my husband cheated on me on Thursday. We were fighting for over 4 days because he has been keeping his Snapchat a secret and downloading naughty pictures from robots on there. I told him Thursday to go sleep at his grandma's. I said, we will get separated. So, wow, not naughty pictures. I thought these people were chaste. This person says, my husband is gone for half the year, his work, and is a penny pincher. He always balks at the grocery store. Okay, so she's not allowed to spend money at the grocery store because he's a penny pincher. Okay, new screenshot. Then he snidely replied, why do you always nag? I wasn't going to say anything about the branch you purposely left behind when pruning the tree, but now I'll bring it up. How could you be so lazy to leave this branch? All right, so this woman over here to the left says he never went back to work after he got sick and felt like God was telling him to go on a mission. We have no money and we have kids. We are selling everything we have while our bills fall further behind. During all of this, he starts telling me all kinds of stuff that he feels like God is telling him, crazy things. Months I watched him spending hours and hours a day reading his Bible and just saying stuff I had never heard before. Then one night, TikTok has someone saying the exact same thing he is. And I was like, whoa, is there any truth to what he's saying? I don't know. So, one of the things he believes is that when Jesus rose from the dead and broke curses, it also broke the curse of man having to work. Did I mention we have kids? This person in this box to the right says, my husband isn't financially wise, but these women have to submit to these people. In this gray box, this greenish gray box, it says, there are lots of mornings I find myself envious of him and resentment because while I'm getting up early and going straight to work, he's sleeping in hours and hours. Then in this green box says, hey y'all, how do you keep a clean home to honor your husband when you are exhausted? In this lavender box, I need prayers. I suspected my husband of something a while ago, and when I asked him, he denied it. This pink box says, your husband will never be pressured into loving you, even if you are his wife. This yellow one at the bottom, my husband does not know how to discipline. He refuses to spank and does not allow me to spank. Okay. In this box, towards at the very bottom, my husband keeps thinking I've cheated on him. He won't believe me when I tell him I haven't. Sounds like these women are going through it. And these are just a snippet. Y'all know that I did follow this creator because if she's dropping details like this, I need to be on it. Okay, here is the creator of the thread. She says, these are not marriage counseling or relationship assistance groups, just evangelical women talking amongst themselves. There's maybe 2 or 3 things they will sanction divorce over: cheating, abandoning marriage, and physical abuse, which there is a lot of, but more common is emotional, financial, and verbal abuse. The second most common issue is abuse. Physical abuse does warrant a divorce, but this is usually repeated incidents. In all the posts I've seen about emotional or verbal abuse, I've never seen anyone advise to get help or the husband need therapy. The common advice is to submit, pray, and or have him talk with the pastor, sometimes the father, his or hers. The third most common issue is SMEX. The evangelical ladies talk about SMEX a lot. The problem is often that the husbands won't have SMEX with them, or they have SMEX and it's not good. The wives are often unsatisfied. Another very common issue is the husband failing at being a provider. She feels she has lived up to their deal, having babies, cook, clean, and he has not. They get very upset when they have to go to work because the husband is insisting. The craziest one I saw was a woman who said her roof was leaking and her car was broken down. She had 3 small kids. Her husband worked full time at $55,000 a year. She has a degree and could use it to work from home. She was very upset he was using the degree against her because she had the potential of making more money than him. He was insisting she worked. This is some good stuff, y'all. So we literally just had a conversation about that man who put his children in the race path, and it seemingly was his wife, but we don't know. But let's just assume that he was putting those kids in the pathway of his wife. That was straight up sabotage. And even if it was a stranger, that was still sabotaging that stranger's timing. Anyways, this tweet thread is about husbands sabotaging their wives. And this woman created a whole tweet thread about it. She says, so her name is Omalola, says, even quiet husbands can sabotage you, won't actively say anything or do anything against you. They may even say, good idea, and yes, go for it. And then they will ensure you are unable to do it anyway. Now, whatever post she's quoting is unavailable right now, but she has a whole thread about this. Also, I had lots and lots of great commentary under that race thread that I did, and that's going to be its own post where women are talking about how they were sabotaged by their husbands or boyfriends. But let's get into this thread. Okay, so her commentary. You have professional exams. He won't take on caring for the kids or daily chores to buy you a few hours to do anything for yourself. You will just see you have no time to study. You will start working after kids and need to prove yourself to your employer. Your kids will fall ill and he will never leave work to go and get them. Only you will be leaving work to go and pick up sick kids or calling in sick when a nanny or childminder is not available. This is one of the reasons why there is something called the motherhood penalty, because single women don't have to deal with this. So their career track will continue to track along, but mothers get called in not fathers. Mothers get called in if someone is sick, not dads. That is the reason why there is a motherhood penalty. So just keep that in mind. And this is the reason why women fall out of the workforce, or the reason why they just take a chunk out of their time that they have been working. She continues with, you will be stuck at that entry level dead end job, fired, or you yourself will quit because you are ashamed of not pulling your weight at work. She continues with, their own careers will be flourishing because they do not cancel work for kids. You have to get the kids and the chores out of their hair when they need to study for professional exams or to prepare to attend interviews. Without saying a single negative word, your career, capacity to earn and take care of yourself or find fulfillment in work and achieve your dreams can be damaged by a good man. Chevy, the ones that are even obvious about their own, everybody can see their wickedness properly, but you see the passive, quiet saboteurs. Even you may not realize he's sabotaging you. You will just be thinking he is not helping. So it will now become her husband is not stopping her, or she is just lazy or unable to focus. She's not ready. He gets to be Mr. Good Guy while ensuring your dreams never become a reality. Car for him, public transport for you. Never any money for your own car, so that your freedom of movement continues to be dependent on his benevolence. When you finally buy a car, even with your own money, he will expect his name to be on the papers so he can take freedom of movement away at any time. Good man, Uno. He let me have my own car. Meanwhile, the car, it is school runs and market runs you will only ever do with them. Wow. Yes, that is a definite another example. Freedom of movement is something that is very important. And when you don't have freedom of movement, it definitely impacts your life. The day you want to just go out with friends or go for that career thing, his car will develop problems. He will suddenly need yours. You want to travel for work, even if you go the first time, by the time you return and see he has fed the children Indomie and Gari for the entire time you were gone, you will rethink before you go the next time. I don't know what Indomie and Gari are, so people go ahead and weigh in. If you want to go, you will spend days to your program using whatever free time you have to be cooking, to stock up the fridge instead of preparing and studying for it. His own conferences and programs, he just has to pack a bag and go. But let us thank God for your good husband. I don't know where this woman is from, but it's obviously she's not in the US. But the way she's talking, it sounds exactly like she could be right from the next town over from me. So, what do you think about this sleeping with the ops or the quiet saboteur? Go ahead and weigh in on your thoughts from Omalola. I'm definitely interested in what you have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Now, I don't know if this post was a spin-off of the other post, but it goes perfectly. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach it. This person, Uloma, says, so what happens when your husband refuses to allow you to attend work or business events or meetings? Now, the reason why I'm using this one is this is not a thread. She asked a question, and then the men jumped into her post and were like deflecting, or the commentary was very, very kind of typical. So Jet Daniel says, this is his response. She says, so what happens when your husband refuses to allow you to attend work or business events or meetings? Okay. Now Jet says, men are not terrible people as you imagine. No man will stop you from attending to what's beneficial to you. So just clear this off your head. Okay, so just imagine that this didn't happen. The problem with most of you is that your spirits are troubled and you imagine problems that don't exist. So Captain Cotlin says, no, you're basically asking women to act like those negatives don't exist when it is literally those negatives that are being addressed. And then Jet says, my dear, focus on it and address it. And then someone's like, that's literally what the above tweet was talking about. If you don't relate to it, why not just ignore? And then Dammy says, and you can relate to it? Open your mouth. Why? Oh, okay. So they are being very, very flippant to what women are saying. And then Obatala says, but you are unalive to the billions of men that do more than right by their family and wives. You guys always see the evil ones. You can never see the positive. We know you. So, yes, like I said, they're deflecting from the question. What do you do when your husband is not letting you go to your meetings and your work stuff? And then Mr. Oloba says, you attract what you wish for, Shah. If it's women beater that's always on your mind, don't worry, you'll get one soon. What? What? Princess Megan says, some of you act like we dropped out of the sky, like we didn't live through these kinds of men, fathers, uncles, near and distant relatives, friends of family, and sometimes even siblings and cousins. We thought should know better. And then Daniel, more deflecting. I see where the problem is. There was no love at home. Sorry, okay. Does that change the question to deflect to her home life? I don't get this. So this is what they do. They don't want to address the problems that women are talking about. They just want to change the topic and make it like you're the problem. And then Princess Megan says, if I know an entire village of men like this, you decide it's no love at home. That is the problem. Then I can only conclude that you're a man like this. Exactly. Now, this example, Amaru says, I tire. Oh, he says, all my life, I have been living with married people, both parents or siblings or uncles. Things like this is not even a thing. Not imagination. These ones, they use live. Okay, so the women are just imagining things. So Defi Sis says, so it's because you've not experienced it. Everyone else that has experienced it is imagining. Okay. And he says, they are. So women are just imagining these things that are happening because Amaru didn't experience it because of the people he's lived with. That is the kind of things that these men are saying. Women are trying to overcome these obstacles, and men are like, it's not happening. All right. Let me know what you think about this one. It's some wild marriage stuff on Twitter today. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.